Think about your favorite sports people from any sport, from any era. We could be talking about Senna or Schumacher, Gavaskar or Tendulkar, Kapil or Kohli. Whoever springs to mind, the truth is this, that they're closer to organization leaders than you might ever imagine. Think about it. They both need to be resilient, they both need to be adaptable, and they both need to be open to change. And in doing so, they lead their teams to great things. Today, I'm at the magnificent Biocon campus to meet one such leader, who's Maninder Kapoor Puri. She's the head of human resources at Biocon. So without further ado, let's dive into conversation in our next episode of Leaders in Focus. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Leaders in Focus, where we have with us Ms. Maninder Kapoor Puri, who's the head of human resources at Biocon. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to be here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Karan. Thank you.
So, Ms. Kapoor Puri, you've spent something like 3 decades in the industry. What are some of the most significant shifts you've seen play out across the HR landscape in that time?
Oh, absolutely. I think, when I started my career, 30 years back, HR was all about administrative, payroll, IR. Today, I think HR has a seat on the table. There is a huge focus on people. I think we also see a lot of strategic decisions that are taken by HR and driving organizations. And that is wonderful to see. And I think the pivot was during the COVID times, where HR suddenly became the center of everything. I think every industry, HR suddenly came to light, and a lot of light was shown on HR, right?
Yes.
So hugely. You look at, if I start with certain things that we've seen from 30 years back to now, the HR is devising strategies for the organization in terms of talent, in terms of even people practices that we follow. I think you are competing in a global market. So the world has really, really changed for HR.
Since we're on the topic of change and evolution, how have you seen your own leadership approach evolve over time, and what are some of the key traits you think leaders today need to have to succeed?
Good question, Karan. So I think for me personally, there are 2 or 3 things which I have learned over the years.
Okay.
One, I think, is empowerment. When you empower people, the kind of results you get back from them, it's mind-blowing. I think we undermine or undervalue the value that people bring in. And the more you empower, I think the better results you get. Second is adaptability or agility, right? If anybody can be agile and adapt to the circumstances and change that is happening around you, and you enjoy it or you thrive in it. I personally love change. So for me, I thrive in change. I think that has been a brilliant, at least probably skill of mine. Every leader should be thriving in change, because change is constant. There's nobody who's going to stop it, right? But growth is optional. Somebody said it, I just read it somewhere. The third thing I think, which is also, in my opinion, that really, really matters in today's world, if you want to be a good leader, is empathy. And which again came to light during COVID, but I think it's always been there. The more you are connected with people on a personal level, you understand their situations, the better leader you will be. The more you can connect with human beings, trust me, the value of trust comes into play. And people want to do a lot more. I know this is a cliche term of unlocking potential, but I strongly believe every leader has the ability to unlock potential of every individual that they work with. Or sometimes, you're a leader, and leadership, I think Vinita Bali said it beautifully in one of the forums, and she's one of our board members in one of the Biocon companies, and she made a comment. She said, look, leadership is not a title, right? It's how you behave, how you work is important. And I totally agree, because it's very good to be called a leader, called a vice president, and so on and so forth. But it's also about how do you connect with people, what are you doing with it, and how you're impacting every human being. It's about influencing, right? Inspiring, influencing individuals that work with you, or they may not even work with you directly. But are you today, we have a wonderful principle called walk the talk in Biocon. Out of the 5, one of them is walking the talk. And walking the talk is about that. What you say is what you do. Otherwise, don't say it if you don't believe in it, and because you're not doing it. Yeah. So I think, So for me, I think these are the few things that would work for me.
You touched upon empathy. I want to tug on that thread a little bit more, because I know from what little I've read about you that that's a topic that's very close to your heart.
Yes.
And mental health is, of course, a huge priority in the workplace, very understandably so, that emotional well-being. putting it at the top of the agenda is an imperative, I do agree, pardon me. But how do you balance the pursuit of that with strategic objectives that need to be achieved?
Yeah, I think they are not mutually exclusive, right? They are supposed to work together. Because if you're not able to inspire somebody to believe in the strategy, how are you going to get somebody to deliver to the strategy? Correct? So if you are going to be talking to human beings and you're working with people, people are emotional. People do have their own circumstances, and sometimes we may not agree with it. We don't have to. I'm not saying become best friends and suddenly become somebody's mother and father. No, not at all. You just have to be able to understand and empathize and believe and trust people. When you give trust, you get trust in abundance back. So I think it's about just connecting with every human being, people that you work with. People should feel that you will understand the situation and then be able to also demonstrate. Correct? Because if they are going through hard times, are you really there for them?
Yes.
If you're not, and you say, "Oh, I'm an empathetic leader," then again,
it rings hollow.
Yes, it means nothing. So and you rightly said mental health, right? And what is mental health? Mental health is when people going through tough times, are you out there supporting them in whatever form or manner you can? And I think sometimes maybe there are some organizations out there who believe it can impact their objectives. They don't. I've been in situations where we've actually given time off to people if they were doing a very strategic work for just going and working on themselves and helping them and supporting them and come back after 3 months or take some more time. As a matter of fact, most organizations like even ours, we provide mental health specialists, right? They have access to counselors, not just them, even their family members. So, because at the end of the day, we are a society where dealing with human beings and families, right? So, if my spouse or my child or my parent
so are you.
So am I. So, so it's not just about me. So, I think that help also, in a way, talks about an organization being empathetic. But I think it's a culture also that one needs to build in an organization. And culture is built by people. And hence, it comes back down to human beings and people and their empathetic ways of working.
It's good you brought it full circle back to people, because I want to touch upon this phrase you said earlier, unlocking potential, which is almost the holy grail of many leaders, people, prophets, those 2 P's and all of that. But aligning that with strategic, evolving business objectives remains a challenge. How do you factor that in, and how does mentorship come into the whole equation?
Yeah, good question. So I think, let me break it down in certain parts, Karan. Unlocking potential is a combination of things. One, you need to identify people, what they're good at. That is an important trait of a leader, because everybody is not good at everything. You also have to accept that. And are you shining the light on the positive, or you're shining the light on what is not going well, right? If you shine the light on what is going well or what somebody brings to the table, then you get the best out of that individual. But the more you shine the light on and become a critical parent and start only questioning what is wrong with the individual, you will never get the best out of the person, right? So I believe that the more you shine the light on what they bring to you, the more they will offer and deliver. So I think that is one bit. Now, when you talk about talent development, I think every organization has great strategies on paper. It's available on now, even AI tools will give you talent strategy. So I'm not going to touch upon that because it's a lot of information. I think where I believe it is not about managing your talent today. It's about being ready for tomorrow. Because today, today is tomorrow, yesterday.
It's a known.
It's a matter of time. So as HR professionals, I think what has come to us, which with the fast pace of changing technology, is how are you ready for tomorrow? Then you brought up the point on mentorship. I think it's a combination of coaching and mentorship that works. Coaching at senior leaders, mentoring at middle management leaders. I think it really, really helps. I don't think anybody does not need a coach. I have a coach. Everybody needs a coach because we all have our sides which are not necessarily already evolved. We're all work in progress. Right? So I think in every organization, coaching at a senior level is most important, because a lot of times we don't know our blind spots. And there are very few people who will come and tell you, look, this is not what you do right. Unless you have that culture, which honestly I'm very proud of, because I do have a team that will come and call out. If I'm not doing something right, they have no shame actually. They'll come and tell me if I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes it's good, sometimes It's disheartening, like really, but it is true. I think you do need that coaching. But as far as mentoring is concerned, I think at middle management it is important, because again there is so much of talent, but if you don't develop the talent and if you don't give them the opportunities,
Correct.
then so with mentorship also comes sponsorship. Because as leaders we may have access to a lot of information and where the organization is headed because of the strategic vision of the organization. Are we preparing well ahead in advance by creating sponsorship programs for individuals who've shown talent, who are your critical talent, or have shown you that they are your bright spots,
Right.
or what we call high potentials, and so on and so forth.
So lastly, just to walk down memory lane, what are some of the most memorable moments you might have had over your 3-decade or so career, and what advice would you offer budding professionals today?
This is a tough one, because I think I've been very blessed. I worked with very good people all my career. My bosses have been great and I've learned a lot. I currently work with very good people. Kiran is an inspiration for everybody, not just me. I have Siddharth Mittal, who I report to, who's brilliant. So I think I've been blessed. My peer group has been always very good. My teams have been exceptional. I think what has made me today where I am is my teams. My teams have been super exceptional, and I think they've given more than I would have expected from them. For me, if I call you really moments where I feel very proud, is when I see some of my team members doing very well. Right? Some of them are probably my peers today. So it is really, it gives me a lot of joy. Second, I think it's also during COVID. I strongly believe, I think every HR person will say that, the way we stepped up, I think when we were in my previous organization, I was not in Biocon then, I think we kept people at the heart of every decision we took, right? And the idea was that how do you support every individual? Because see, the moments of crisis or the moments of tough times is what describes the culture of a company. It is not the good time. Good times, every organization is great to work with. So, and that was a tough time because we didn't know how the world is going to react and what's going to happen to business. It's very easy to, take a call and say we'll lay off everybody. But I think we didn't do that. We started to work with people. We started to create programs for them. We kept them engaged. So there was a lot of things done. I think I'm very proud that the role I played in that organization. For me, the third thing would be, again, it's nothing to do with me actually. It's to do with my team. I think every time, and this is probably I'll make a generic statement, in every organization I've worked, every time that we as a team have been acknowledged in some form or manner has been a memorable moment for me. So I will not call out one because I have a lot of people who know me and they may not appreciate it. But yeah, those three. Parting words for people, I think just, first be happy. I think the world has got a lot of sadness and nastiness. Don't focus on that. Focus on what is going well. At least I do that, because otherwise you'll always have mental health issues. And sometimes because we do have, unfortunately, there's a lot of news that is available. Yeah. When we were growing up, we were in a way lucky. We didn't have so much of
news being bombarded.
Overload of information available to us. Sometimes it's good and a bad thing as well. So I think just be happy in the situation you are in. Try and see the positive side of it, but be adaptable. Change quickly. Change with the times, because if you're going to say, that time, see, I can easily sit down and say, life was better when we didn't have cell phones. But life is not going to go to that, right? So no point reminiscing, it's good, but no point talking about it and cribbing about it. You have to move on. I think change for me is a big one. And third is be people-centric. I think every leader, it doesn't matter, it's got nothing to do with HR. Even I have been a business leader as well. So I can tell you, whether you're a business leader, people leader, any kind of leader, if you're a leader, people have to be important for you. You have to be able to deal with them with empathy. You have to be able to deal with them as human beings. Because I don't think if you can be a good leader if you're not a good person. As simple as that.
Ma'am, thank you so much for carving some time out of your schedule for us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kindness and care might be old-fashioned value, but they still matter in today's day and age. Because after all, what is every business but a people business? And there was nobody who drove that point home more than Maninder Kapoor Puri. Thank you for watching this episode of Leaders in Focus. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.